Welcome to this session of IGNITE. Let's just take a few minutes. It's taking just a few minutes to looking at tackling the question how. We've all been talking about how for the next phase. So we thought we'll just spend a few minutes dealing with the how. Just to tell you a little bit about Duryog Nivaran that's organizing this thing. It's a South Asian network set up in 1995 to deal with issues of development and DRR. And to begin the presentation now, let me hand it over to Vishaka.
Change the slide. Okay, good afternoon. Let me, start by showing you a picture. Do you recognize this? What do you think this is? A car? Okay, good. So, what does the car do? Yeah, take you from one place to the other, right? But can the car do it by itself? No. What? You need what? You need a driver. So you need a driver. So we have our car and the driver. But still, can the driver and the car go wherever it needs? What is, can they? You need fuel. Yeah, good. What else do you need? Direction. Yes. What else? Road. Right. Yeah. So these are a few key things that the car needs if you really want to get from one place to another. But what happens if the road is bad? Really, really bad, non-motorable, or it, cracks in some place, doesn't lead you to the direction it wants, And what happens if you don't have the fuel you need, the quantity and the quality? What happens? Obviously it doesn't get you where you want to go, right? So some of us, if we are really desperate to go from one place to another, what would we do? We try to patch the potholes. We try to, do with whatever the fuel we have, maybe filter it, clean it, try to do that. But really, is that what we want to do? We want to just get on with the journey and wish that our road and the fuel and the rest of it is in place, right? So, yes?
So much for that, but what has the car got to do with what we're talking about? I mean, why are we talking about cars and roads and fuel? I thought we were here to talk about disaster risk reduction and HFA2 and things like that. What has this got to do with all of it?
This has everything to do with the HFA post 2015 and the how question, right? So the how question in post 2015, we want to make sure this HFA journey takes us to where we want from where we are today, right? So for that, we need so many things falling into place. So when in 2005, in the aftermath of Indian Ocean tsunami, world very enthusiastically determined to do something about it, signed up to the HFA, right? And then when we start doing it, HFA is a very comprehensive framework that links with, development, environment, poverty, all these issues, etc. So what people did with good intention, they tried to do what they can do. So the HFA midterm review says, things have progressed well, like, institutional framework, the capacity building, the preparedness aspect, early warning system, these are the things that have progressed well. So what? We got our car, we fixed the problems in the engine, we, got our light fixed, even changed the tires, serviced it, we're ready to go and we went somewhere. But there are also things that are not happened so well, underlying risk factors. Right? Issues such as social poverty and environment, issues such as inclusivity and gender issues, these are the issues that did not get done. Our road was not good. We couldn't go where we want to go. Then there are also issues of governance, the local risk governance, decentralization, which we want to achieve, also did not progress well. So where maybe our fuel was not good. So all I'm trying to say is that there are things, if we have the car, there are things that we can do to fix by ourselves. But things like road, right, and fuel, these are external to us. Sure, some of us actually did do something about fixing the road and fixing the fuel. And you know what, it did work. There are some very good examples of how things can happen. You know, what a car can do if the road and the fuel is good. But it didn't spread across. It did spread across nations, regions, or the world. Why? Because throughout the world there are problems. These fuel and roads are not in place, so our car can't do what it can do best. So what do we do about this in the next phase? There's a lot of energy here in the last 2 days today, you know, figuring out what should be included in the next phase. How do we get our car more fine-tuned? What are the missing things? But actually, what we need to do is to focus on the road and the fuel, right? There are out there, you know, people are talking about MDG, SDG, that's our road. You know, people are talking about climate action frameworks, that's our fuel, human right framework. So get those things right, because this is not within our control. We can only influence. Get to them, talk to them, you know, give the message. So we should put a lot of our energy today here focusing on the car towards that. And that's how we get where we want to get. So think about it. You know, we need to really, really think about what are our messages to those people who are doing that. And how are we going to present this in the language that they can understand, not in the language that we are familiar with. So I hope this gives some food for thought.
Okay, thank you, Vishaka. That makes sense. Thank you so much. And to respond to, I mean, these are some of the questions that we are raising in the South Asia Disaster Report. A summary, sort of a little preview summary has been given to you, I think. And we've got one response to begin with, and then we can open it out for others who want to comment.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarwar Bari from Pakistan. We have been working in disaster-prone areas. And we have a concept, because when a daughter is born, the family thinks that it's a burden. So a girl child is considered a burden. So, and that is a very fundamental thing which must be addressed and understood in Pakistani context. Because if a girl child is a burden, then who is responsible? So in our work in disaster-prone areas, in flood-affected areas, we started talking with men that how you can get rid of this burden. And that one thing is that you start investing in girls' education, making women more powerful and empowered, and so that you can also give up some control. Because unless you continue controlling women's lives, you would keep on suffering with this burden. And when in 1992 floods hit in that area, we started building houses, and we thought that it's very important to give equal ownership to husband and wife. Men said, house belongs to women. We said, we want to give you half of it. Because that was the only way, because in disasters, traditional restriction structures disappear. Because it's a very abnormal situation. Men can't continue controlling the women because disaster is a very abnormal situation. And this period is very critical in order to have some strategic interventions. So that is a time when you can negotiate on behalf of women with male community in a disaster hit area. And in 92, and then we continue, we knew very well that men would try to kick out their women from their houses, recently constructed houses, so therefore we should continue our presence in that community. And of course some men try to get rid of their women, they wanted to marry another woman. And that was not possible because women got together and they said, we own half of the house. We can't allow you. And in 1999, then a military took over the power and introduced a local government system and introduced a 33% quota for women. And most of these women who got active during this period, they thought they should contest elections for the local councils. And most of these women, in fact, in these villages won the elections. So these are the thoughts which you can carry with you while working in disaster-prone areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the reason we had that response from a gender perspective is because we think that couple of the things that are important to deal with in the next, where we are going next, be it the HFA2, be it how we input into the post-MDG thing, whatever it is, two things that we think are vitally important are the issue of gender as well as the issue of decentralization. And those are the two things that the the South Asia Disaster Report 2013 is dealing with. I think we have like a couple of minutes left. Is there anyone who would like to give you a quick response as to how you would like to deal with it? Maureen. You'll have to go there, and then we finish up.
Hi, I do wish I had the answers and not just more questions. But I absolutely support this kind of framing because we're so focused on the disaster bit. And we think that if we solve that, we've solved the problem. But actually, it's the road, it's the fuel, it's all the other things that really make people resilient and able to cope with and adapt to disasters. So it's that complete picture that we've really got to get right. And where I don't have the answers is precisely how we do that. And I really think there isn't one way of doing it. It's really very context specific. And what might work for me in Newcastle in the UK is not going to work in Colombo. It's not going to work in other parts of the world. We've got to fine tune it, I think, but we've really got to make those connections. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen, and thanks to all of you for participating. Thank you so much.